Did anyone else think that the 5 and 6 star raids were hard enough, and now they've introduced 7-star raids into Pokemon Scarlet and Violet? Hey Pokemon Masters, Toby here, and yeah, we've got these new Charizard 7-star raids, and they're in different Terra crystals to normal, Terra dens, I guess. Rather than the regular crystals that appear in the overworld, these ones appear to be black and have a shadowy aura about them, and inside are Pokemon that are beyond the highest level Pokemon, okay? Level 100 doesn't matter. These Pokemon, this Charizard has the mightiest mark. It is the unrivaled Charizard. The Pokemon that we'll find in these dens are stronger than any other Pokemon that we'll find anywhere else in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and perhaps in any Pokemon games so far. They're doing something beyond levels, but that's not just mechanically, that's also within the terms of lore, and actually this is something we've seen a lot before. Let me give you all of the lore and whatnot. Speaking of whatnot, a little bit later on today, I'm going to say more and a thank you to today's sponsor, Whatnot, who I think you would get terrific value out of. Again, I'll mention a little bit more about them at the end of the video. So let's talk about these black Terra crystals and the Pokemon that are inside, exceeding the power of level. Pokemon getting stronger outside of being, say, level 100 isn't anything new. Your Pokemon can evolve if it wants, but beyond that, it could Mega Evolve, it could go Dynamax or Gigantamax. You could give your Pokemon a Z Crystal, or perhaps terrestrialize it now, or maybe your Pokemon is blessed by Arceus and it becomes a noble Pokemon, or perhaps it's irradiated by the energy of an Ultra Wormhole and becomes a Totem Pokemon. There are so many ways already that Pokemon can seem to power up beyond what is possible with evolution. One of the common methods, and actually one of the ones that you've probably done a lot throughout your playthroughs, is the power of friendship. Yeah, really, that is legitimately a thing. As you bond with your Pokemon and Poke-Me and doing picnics and stuff, and like just battling with your Pokemon and not letting it die in BDSP, your Pokemon will jump for joy, maybe one too many times, slowing down the pace of the game to tell you that, hey, it loves you. And as a result of that, it's gonna get bonus critical hits. It's gonna hang in there and tough it out when the battle gets really hard. This kind of reminds you of the anime where even when the laws of the logic of the types matchups and all of that dictate that your Pokemon should faint, Ash Ketchum somehow just pulls through and manages to, I don't know, plot armor his way to victory. That's exactly what's happening here. But it is a mechanic within the world of Pokemon. We also have light Pokemon, kind of like the noble Pokemon of Arceus, I guess, although they are a bit more frenzied. But light Pokemon appear in the TCG, and these Pokemon get more powerful by working together. All of their abilities complement each other. And on top of that, and speaking of Ash actually, of course there is the Ash Greninja. Ash Greninja is a special case. It is one of a kind. Perhaps it is the ultimate form of this bonding with a Pokemon becoming so strong that it is well beyond what evolution, Mega Evolution, or levels can achieve. I don't think that's what's happening in these Terra raid dens though, no. For where there is light, there is darkness, and terrestrializing is terrible. Where there is light, there is shadow. And shadow Pokemon appear all throughout the history of the franchise, the kind of opposite of light Pokemon, I suppose. A Pokemon not that is so friendly with its trainer that it's powered up, but one that has been so rigorously used and abused for its strength that its door to its heart has locked off and it has obtained new powers that has become a monstrous version of its usual self. We've seen this in Pokemon Go. We've seen it in the Pokemon Forever movie where the guy uses the Dark Balls, the Team Rocket member, and he uses them to power up his Pokemon immediately to a higher level. We've seen it, of course, in Pokemon Colosseum and Gale of Darkness, where a Pokemon achieves a shadow form that it literally changes the form. That's Lugia, for example. We've seen it in Pokemon Tournament, where a corrupted Synergy Stone messes with Mewtwo, turning it into this big shadowy version of Mewtwo. And speaking of Mewtwo, actually from Mewtwo's genetics, you can get the Berserk gene, an item in Generation 2 that causes your Pokemon to become more powerful, but it becomes confused and enraged, which is exactly what happens to the Pokemon in Detective Pikachu as a result of the Argas extracted from Mewtwo, the rageful Pokemon. And what happens to those Pokemon infected with the Argas? They become confused, stronger, but confused and covered in the kind of shadowy aura that we see in all these other mediums. Much like the light Pokemon of the TCG, we see dark Pokemon of the TCG even obtaining the dark type energy to join into their roster, changing their type. So it's something we've seen before with the changing of types and everything like that. We've also seen it in the anime where Dr. Namba of Team Rocket, it's always Team Rocket. By the way, if you want to see my full take on Shadow Pokemon, I got this video here and I cannot recommend it enough because I go deep into the lore. But in the anime, we've got Professor Namba who's going out to capture Lugia and uses Pokemon wearing a Rage Crown, an item that shuts off the door to their hearts, but makes them stronger. So this is a much more documented phenomenon, more so even than light Pokemon and good Pokemon. In fact, you can see this phenomenon used in conjunction with Mega Evolution, both in Pokemon Tournament and in one of the movies, the Volcanion movie, where we see an army of shadowy, aurid, purple-eyed Mega Pokemon. This same phenomenon appears again naturally in the Pokemon 20th I Choose You movie, where Marshadow corrupts the Rainbow Ring. Or I think the Rainbow Ring was held by a trainer with the, I guess, the door to his heart shut off a little bit compared to like Ash, and so it became corrupt. And all the Pokemon surrounding become what seem to be highly aggressive shadow Pokemon. So it can occur somewhat naturally, but usually needs human intervention, which gives us a big question here. For these Terra Raid Dens, these ones containing shadowy Charizards that are a much higher level than their regular level, have there been some human influence to how these raid dens appear? Are these regular raid dens that have been corrupted as the result of some kind of human science or experimentation? You know, Sada and Churro were experimenting on raid dens and trying to learn what they could about Terra Orbs and crystals. Is it possible that they did something? Or maybe Team Stars is up to something, though I highly doubt it now. Because in order to access these events, you need to have completed certain parts of the post-game story. And while maybe that is just to stop lower level players taking on these dens and becoming extremely disappointed when they are hopeless, it might also be because there is some plot related reason. We'll have to keep an eye out in future DLC, but I do wonder, are these Terra Raid Dens, these ones with these mightiest Pokemon, undefeated versions of the Pokemon, are they canon to the lore? Or just something extra? Speaking of something extra, I've got something extra for you that I think you'd really enjoy. That is today's sponsor, Whatnot. This is something I think you'll get huge benefits out of. If you're anything like me and you've got a huge Pokemon card collection and loads of cards to sell, or you want to pick up something and feel like you got a really good deal, then this is the way to do it. I am fed up of spending ages and ages listing cards on the internet, putting in the title, putting in the description. What if the buyer doesn't like what they've received? What if they, you know, I've said it's near mint, they decide it's lightly played. There's this whole back and forth, it's completely impersonal, there's high fees that I'm losing out money on. Yeah. This is the way to sell from now on. Whatnot is a live selling platform where you can show off the cards you're selling there on stream and people can see in real time what exactly it is that they're going to pick up. They can then bid against each other starting at £1. No one has to bid anything that they don't want to bid. There's no snipe bidding either, because in the last 15 seconds, if someone bids, it goes back to 15 seconds. So everyone bids exactly what they're happy and comfortable to do so. Everyone can see the cards they're going to pick up and ask questions in real time, and it saves effort on writing all those descriptions for me, because personally, I just don't like doing that. Instead, I can just show the cards and have a conversation. And that's the best bit about the platform. It's the conversation, knowing who I'm selling the cards to and knowing who I'm going to be buying from in future, because there's a whole lovely little community over there of people who are buying and selling, and people are just like getting incredibly good deals over there. I was selling packs of first edition Fossil last month and they were going well under market price, and everything started at £1. On top of all of that, my next show, which is on the 18th of December at 8 PM GMT, use the link at the top of the description to download the app right now. That show is going to be raising money for cancer research. It's an important cause to me. I've got a whole bunch of live streams I'm doing that weekend where people might want to donate, but if you would like to get something for your money and have it go towards a good cause, you can click that link at the top of the description, come along to the live stream and pick up some Pokemon cards for charity yourself. Make sure you've clicked the link in the description to download the app, head on over to my profile and bookmark the charity show, and thank you to Whatnot for sponsoring this video. And thank you to you for watching this video. Let me know if you're thinking if Shadow Pokemon are going to be returning in the DLC, if there is DLC, in the comments down below, or maybe I'm just looking a little bit too much into it. Thank you all for watching, of course. So hi, Pokemon Masters.
This is Ash Ketchum. You just watched a video by Birdkeeper Toby. That makes you a Pokemon Master.
Thank you so much to those you supporting me on Patreon, allowing me to put out as many videos as I have lately, including the big patrons of this month, Anthony Lee, Elgator, Charmander Aznable, and Jedruben. Thank you.